Every soldier out here that done had the back of everybody and still got the back of their people. No matter how they get done, and no matter how people switch and flip on them, they still hold their ground. This is for you, soldier. Yo, let's do this. Someone's trying in my life, trying to take me down. Unleash the wrath of a menace, even though I'm trying to fight. Demons getting stronger, harder to fight. Mama keep praying, I feel her in the air at night. Looking in the mirror, seeing nothing but the pain. Homie, ain't no sunshine on my rainy day. Ain't nobody got my back, so I stand alone. Full grown on my own, cause the path I chose, I thought would bring better days. It's like I'm in a maze, and every pack of my back got me scared of brave. Every step that I take is a test of my faith. Push me to the limit just to make the grade. Most hated by my enemies. These they just seem no so-called friends to turn to foes. So where do I go? I'm at the crossroads, doing everything I can just to hold on. Just a soldier in the game, trying to find my way. Standing alone with nowhere to go. I'm at the crossroads. Yeah, yeah, trying to hold on. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is your man, Next Icon. This is the ICON Chronicles. Today is, what day is this? Monday, December 13th, 12 days before Christmas. But now nobody be trying to call over here talking about singing the 12 days of Christmas, because I ain't trying to hear it. What's up, everybody? This is Next Icon. No excuses. I can overcome negativity. Y'all know what the deal is. You know what I'm here to do, as I am here to do every weekend. Again, if you want to be a guest on the show, if you're looking at the screen, you can see the email address, the iconchronicles@gmail.com. If you want to call in, the number is 678-837-7138. Tonight, we have the author's spotlight. So today we are spotlighting authors. So if you have a book, books, writing a book, in the process of writing a book, thinking about writing a book, this is the place to be to promote your works, because that's what the goal of the ICON Chronicles is to promote independence in every shape, form, or fashion. So, with that being said, anybody that has paid attention to me knows that I myself am an author of 5 books, of which I can only find 4 at this time. But the first 2 books that I have that I wrote are called Love for the Game, and it's Love for the Game 1 and Love for the Game Balls in My Word. These are gangster novels set here in Atlanta, but the characters, I'm gonna do like the police do. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. Anyway, while I am here and while they are here, I want everybody to recognize a very talented person who has stopped by the studio in my secret undisclosed place. Y'all might know her as Atlanta's sweetheart, but this is Miss Tammy Bailey, and she is passing through. She's just going to yell out and say hey and announce that she did something very wonderful over the past weekend. That if you missed it, y'all just sad because y'all always looking for something to do in Atlanta and y'all missed it. But I'm going to let her tell y'all what it was, ladies and gentlemen. Then I'm going to come back and talk about my books. This is Miss Tammy Bailey.
Hi, Sugar. Thank you for having me on after my event. Hello, everybody. Hi, viewers. How are you? First and foremost, I want to say thank you to everyone who attended last night. Those that couldn't attend, that reached out to me and congratulated me and sent their best wishes. I love you guys. Thank you for your support. And of course, thank you for everybody that showed up. Um, they showed up to my finale for my show, Atlanta's Sweetheart, Date or Break. It was the Heartthrob edition this season. Um, you guys can find us on YouTube and Facebook. Again, it's Atlanta's Sweetheart, Date or Break. And this season was called the Heartthrob edition. We had Todd Mitchell come on to the show, And we had some women come in and pitch their bid to get a date with him. So we finally whittled it down to the final two. And last night was the finale where we wrapped the season and Todd chose his sugar. So out of the two sugars, it was Leandria Showbiz Taylor and Teresa Williams. He chose Teresa. So it was a good night. It was a very good night. We had a good turnout and everybody had fun. We partied for a minute.
And we had good food.
The food was oh my god, the food was outrageous. You guys go on Instagram and you can look her up at I See Food Fabulous. Chef Steph did her thing last night. It was absolutely incredible. It was amazing. And shout out to Carla M. Jordan with Vizard Spirits. They were our second year sponsor for Atlantis Sweetheart Data Break. So shout out to Carla M. Jordan. I love you. Thank you so much for taking this walk and standing beside me through this journey. I appreciate you. And to my day ones and all my supporters and followers, y'all know who y'all are. I love y'all so much, sugars. Thank you for coming through. It feels amazing. It feels amazing to actually wrap the second season of this show. So thanks for having me come on. Next Icon. Thank you, Media Antics Media, for covering my event. You did an amazing job. We got some incredible shots. Last year I didn't get any footage, but you took care of me this year. So thank you so much, Media Antics.
You know, I started to fit the same frame as everybody else and tell you that, man, you know what? The video, the SD card got kidnapped by aliens. I was on my way back with it, and they dropped down in a flying saucer, and they said, "Give me the camera because we've been watching Atlanta Sweetheart, and we want all the footage, and I just don't know what happened."
Yeah, thank God they didn't show up.
But it was a great night. Awesome decorations. Everybody, the day ones got a gift. Um, the what's his name? A gentleman by the name of Gordy.
You won the raffle.
He won the raffle,
Get in.
and
Here in Atlanta.
he is a producer here in Atlanta. So if anybody knows him, congratulate him for winning, and congratulate Todd Mitchell and Teresa Williams for well, congratulate Teresa for being chosen as Todd's date for Atlanta's Heartthrob, and congratulate Todd for choosing Teresa. I think I said that. I think I said that right. But who knows? Maybe I might be on the 10th, 11th, 12th season. Find me some geriatric sugar mama.
Oh my God. Look, the geriatric edition.
Who knows? But it was fun. The food was great. The food was even it was colored in Atlanta Sweetheart colors. Um, everybody had a good time. Everybody danced. I didn't dance. I was filming. I'm a thug. I don't dance. I boogie, but I did get up there with Garrett, and we traded back and forth on a couple Houdini songs, so that was kind of fun. So, but it was everybody had a great time. The food was excellent. Um, the sugars, and I know I'm not saying it right because I'm not from the South, so I'm saying it the way that I can say it. But the sugars and the heartthrob had to go do some challenges and some trivia live, and it was fun. It was funny. Showbiz did a show. Interesting. The last song was very interesting.
She did her thing.
She did her thing, but it was that was an interesting song. It is not child oriented. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
If your kids walk around singing that song, we all in trouble.
I know. You don't want your kids singing that one. So.
But anyway, again, this is the Arthur Spotlight. I just wanted everybody to hear what was going on last night because if you wasn't there, you missed a good time. Everybody always talk about that there's nothing to do in Atlanta. Y'all missed a good time. I mean, one of the things that I like about these events is a lot of us we all know each other because we've all performed together. And it's like literally every time that we all get together, it's like a family reunion. So that's the good part about it. But I mean, either way, I mean, y'all missed good food. There was pasta, there was Swedish meatballs, there was red sauce, there was white sauce, there was some vegetables, salad, there was bread, there was what was the chicken?
It was basil chicken.
Basil chicken. See, I didn't want to screw it up.
Basil chicken, Italian meatball.
Italian meatball. See, I said Italian meatball. So I'm sorry, Chef Steph. I didn't mean to say that they were Swedish meatballs. Like that's the only thing I know is Swedish meatballs. So that was the first thing that came out my mouth was Swedish meatballs. They were Italian meatballs. So don't get mad at me, Chef Steph. Don't get mad at me, Italy, because I got it wrong. But I didn't taste them because I don't eat meat. I'm a pescatarian, but it looked good. It looked good enough to eat, but I could not partake. But I did have the noodles, a couple of deviled eggs. They did get me. Now I'm gonna say this before I get to my books. They did get me with the punch. I didn't tell Tammy that. They did get me with the punch.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. No, you didn't tell me that one. They got you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is hilarious.
Now I'm going around now. Now I'm going around because anybody that knows me knows that I try and watch out for everybody. So I don't know who does drink and who doesn't drink. There were shots that were out there, so I was letting people. It's a good thing that I did because there was a couple of people that started to grab them that were like, "Oh no, this alcohol. No, yeah, those are really shots." So just to let everybody know, these are really shots.
Yes.
So be sure that that's what you want to drink before you grab it. Needless to say, nobody told me about the punch. I just assumed. I just assumed that it was regular punch, and I made me a glass, and
That was a sweetheart punch.
yeah, it was a sweetheart of a punch.
Yeah.
So I was not expecting it, and nobody told me. Now I'm warning everybody else about the alcohol. Didn't nobody tell me that the punch was spiked. So
we
I
had juice up there for non-drinkers.
yeah, I
With
caught
some
on to
green
that.
apple and some cream
Yeah,
grape juice.
I caught on to that afterwards. I'm like, okay, hold on, let me. And I grabbed a Sprite and some cranberry juice. I'm like, okay, let me
Yeah, we had some
let
green
me
apple
try.
and
Yeah,
mango.
let me try and counter this
Right.
because I still got to drive back home and I don't drink. And we in Cobb County.
But one question: how was the punch though?
It was good.
It was good.
The punch was good,
It was good.
but somebody should have warned me that the punch was spiked because, like I said, I got me a great big glass, and before I knew, I was like, wait a minute, oh, hey, this ain't no regular punch. So, yeah, that was the interesting part of the night. I'm glad that I caught it before I drank too much,
Yeah.
or Tammy probably would have seen a whole different side.
Uh-oh.
I probably would have did more than rap some Houdini with Garrett.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So I'm glad that I caught it, but yeah. But other than that, it was a fun night though.
Yeah, shout out to Garrett. He came out and was definitely one of the lives of the party.
Yeah. So again, it was fun. It was fun. I didn't get tipsy, but yeah. If y'all ever invite me to an event and there's punch, please let me know if it's leaded or unleaded. Please.
That's funny. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, sugar.
So, but other than that, it was fun. But anyway, back to the artist spotlight. Again, if you are an author, if
Yeah.
if you're thinking about writing a book, if you're writing a book, if you have written a book, call in, send me your information, and we'll get you on another show to talk about your book. Let me tell y'all something. If you are in the mind to write a book, stop thinking about it. Just do it. It's really just simple. Don't even because the more that you think about doing it, the more that you're going to talk yourself out of doing it because you're going to come up with a million and one excuses for why you can't write the book, why you don't have time to write the book, why it's crazy to write the book. Your friends are going to tell you that you're crazy for trying to write a book. Your family going to tell you that you're crazy for writing a book because you ain't got nothing to write about. Ignore all of that. Stop asking people what you should write and how you should write it and what your characters should do and how your characters should be. This is your creation. One of the things that I probably shouldn't take it personal, but I do, is when I go online and I see people asking what they should do with their book. How many words should their book have? How should they design their characters? Can their character do this? Can their character do that? This is your creation. This is your book. Your character can do whatever it is that you want them to do. You don't need anybody's permission. You don't need anybody's input. However many words that you write in your book is however many words that you choose to write in your book. There is no set number. Understand that. There's no set number. My first two books were 365 pages. How many words is in there? I could not tell you because I didn't pay attention. I just kept writing until I got done writing them and I said, okay, the book is done. My second book, Brutal, is like 400, maybe 500 pages because there's a lot going on. I didn't ask anybody about it for their advice on it. I wrote it the way that I wanted to because everybody is going to have their opinion. Everybody's going to have their say so. My books, Love for the Game, they're written in first person. I'm writing in the mind of every single character in that book, even as a pregnant lady. Because that's the way that I wanted to write it. I don't need nobody's permission to do that. If you're going to write a book, write the book. Stop thinking about it. Stop analyzing it. Stop overthinking it. Stop trying to figure out when's the best time. Just write. If people say, I don't know what to write about, just start writing. Just start writing and it'll flow. Now, I'm going to tell you, my first book, and I still have it in plastic. I wish I did that with the rest of them. This is my first book, Love for the Game, book 1. This is my very first book. How did I come up with the concept for this book? Most people will laugh when I tell them this story. Love for the Game, actually, this book right here, Love for the Game, actually started out as a contest entry. In Atlanta, I'm not sure if they're still around, but Atlanta had this magazine called Creative Loafing. And if anybody here is familiar with that, I used to go through there to look for different auditions, different events and clubs because I also do music. So there was one particular year that I was bored. I go through these periods where I have absolutely nothing to do. My brain is like running a thousand miles an hour with a bunch of ideas and a bunch of thoughts that need to get out. So one day I'm sitting here and I'm reading Creative Loafing and they have a writing contest. And they give you the subject matter to write about. Excuse me. And it was like at that point now that's the only time that I ever kept count of the words. And it had to be like 3,000 words. And the word that they used, the word that they gave us to use was scratch. So the initial title of Love for the Game was Scratch, and it was based on money. Because in my world, at one point in time, that's what we call money. We call it scratch. And I didn't win the contest, but I got mentioned. That motivated me to see what else I could do with that. So I started reworking it and reworking it and reworking it, adding stuff to it, adding more characters to it, adding some more events into it. And eventually it turned into Love for the Game. You have to bear with me. Now, there's the whole thing about publishing. Let me tell y'all about the publishing. It is not as difficult as people think. How I figured out about self-publishing was I was an avid listener to the Steve Harvey Morning Show and Michael Baston Show on the radio. Both of them have books that were self-published. When I heard them say that, I was like, well, man, if they can get their books self-published, there's got to be a way for somebody that's not as famous as they are to get their books published. So I dug around and I dug around and I researched. I came across a few people that wanted to publish my book, but they were charging like $2,000, $3,000, $1,000 just for them to publish it and do all the stuff that they had to do and all of this to proofread it and check out the spelling. Love for the game. There's no way that I would have anybody proofread that because what is written, a lot of the terminology in the dictionary there is written in street talk and slang. And the last thing that I wanted somebody to do is to start going through my book. Well, you can't say this and you can't put this in there and this and this and this and this and this. No, the way that I wrote it is the way that it's going to be. And I'm not going to be paying you thousands of dollars for you to take my piece of work and change it to fit what you think that it should be. So I ended up coming across a company called lulu.com. And that's www.lulu.com. I go through them for all of my books. Their format is you don't pay for the books up front. They're printed on demand and you pay based on the number of pages that are in your book. Now, what they do is they give you a price, they give you a lowball price that you can set, and they tell you how much that they're going to make out of it and how much you're going to make out of it. And they take their money out of the sale. So if your book is like $20, and this is just an example, they might take like $5 for their piece of for what they do for it to get it out there. They might take $5 out of that, and you get the remainder. And again, it's based on how many pages that your book is. And I think when I did Love for the Game, I think the pages were, I want to say 7 cents a page or something like that. But it's really a nominal price. They give you it's called an ISBN number, and I cannot remember what the definition of it is. Please do like I do, research everything. They give you an ISBN number that registers your book. They give you a barcode that you can attach to your book so that it can be scanned. They have this program called global distribution. Global distribution, they put your book in Walmart, Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, any place that sells books. That's where they're going to put your book. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks for them to get them circulated around like that. But again, you're not paying anything up front. You're not paying anything. So all five of my books and my sixth one that I'm trying to finish they all go through Lulu. And again, I've gone through and I've researched, I've looked up, I've Googled my books, and I did find them on Walmart's website. They're all over Amazon. They're wherever Amazon is in the world, my books are there. Now you can order yourself a bulk rate, a number of books, and they'll charge you a bulk rate for that. Now let me put this out there. You do have to order a proof copy of your book. They will send it to you, but you have to pay for it, and that's basically okaying. You're going through it, flipping through it, make sure that everything is the way that you want it. But every time that you change something, you have to order another proof, and you do have to pay for that proof. But come on, this is your book. This is your investment. But this is what I go through. And again, this was my first book, Love for the Game, book one. Yes, this is me on the cover. That's another interesting story. And this is Keisha Perena. I hope I said her name right. Keisha Lee Perena. She is out of Virginia, if I remember correctly. And I was looking for somebody to represent one of the characters on my book, well, two of the characters on my book. So this person right here that I'm representing, this is D'Artagnan. He's one of the lead characters in the book. Keisha is representing his girlfriend, his new girlfriend, Shanae. And I asked a couple females if they would like to be on the cover of a book, and they kept telling me no. And these were people right, these were women that I'm friends with right here in Atlanta, with Facebook friends and this and that, and they didn't want to be on the book. They didn't want to be on the cover of a book. So a cousin of mine had a friend Keisha in Virginia, and she approached her and said, "Look, my cousin is looking for somebody to portray a character on the cover of a book. Would you do it?" No problem. The only thing that she asked is for a free copy. Who's gonna argue with that? I couldn't get anybody else to portray D'Artagnan, so that's how I ended up on the cover. But then after that, after I did Love for the Game 1, I couldn't finish the story in one book. So that's where I came up with Love for the Game 2, Balls in My Word. Now, again, I try to use people that I know because I know too many. I know a lot of people, and somebody out here is going to be willing to help. This person here, he represents Rafael Vega. He's another lead character. He and D'Artagnan are enemies. Um, and I'll tell you what the book is about in a second. But this person here that's portraying Rafael Vega, that's my nephew Ray. The artwork that's done on this book is done by his sister, my niece Angelia. She does great graphic work. Her name is Angelia Bennett Davis. She does graphic work. She does web pages. You can look her up on Facebook. Tell her that her uncle referred her. She does great work. Um. Anyway, but Love for the Game again is a gangster novel. It is set in Atlanta, and basically what's going on is again, Raphael and D'Artagnan are on two opposite ends of the spectrum. D'Artagnan represents the Mechanicsville gangsters, the street thugs, the hustlers, the ballers. Raphael's Raphael Vega, they're the Buckhead. If everybody knows Buckhead, that's the ritzy, rich people, the money people. So they represent both those sides. Each one is trying to take over each other's territory on their own. But what happens is there's his name is James T. James T was a mentor to D'Artagnan. James T ended up getting killed by D'Artagnan, but nobody knows this. And what happened is there's an FBI agent that is trying to get revenge for James T. Why? Because the whole time that James T was mentoring D'Artagnan, James T was an undercover FBI agent. So what his partner is doing is he's escalating the war between D'Artagnan and Rafael Vega as a way to take out both gangs, but also in his mind take out the person that he thinks killed his partner. Because he's not really sure. He has an idea based on where James T was operating. So he has an idea, but he has no proof. So basically, he's manipulating both of these gangs to go against each other. And you have to read the books to find out how the story goes. But this is actually going to be a trilogy, and I'm actually trying to finish the third part of it, but I keep being sidetracked by other projects. But there's Love for the Game, book one, Love for the Game, Balls in My Word, and then there is going to be Love for the Game, End Game, where everything is tied up and everything starts to make sense for how things ended up to where they are. The other book, Brutal, I have a copy of it somewhere around here. I have no idea where it is, but I have a copy of it. Brutal is another psychological thriller. And again, it's set in Atlanta. And this follows Ray and Samuel. Ray and Samuel are actually the same person, but it depends on which day of the week or what hour of the day of which one is in control of the other one. And they're constantly battling for control of each other. But at the same time that they're battling for control of each other, they're kidnapping people and they're torturing them. They're making them slaves. They're murdering them. They're doing all kinds of things to people in the process of fighting with each other. One of the things that I did with this book is I brought some of the characters from Love for the Game into Brutal, like cameo appearances. But again, you have to read the book. Everything happens in Atlanta. You have to read the book. Brutal is a little bit thicker. I think if I saw on Walmart the last time, they were selling that book for like $30. And again, it's based on the size of the book. The next two books that I wrote, because I'm also a poet, is I have two poetry books called Confessions from the Flip Side of Love. And I'm sorry for my face being all up in the camera, but I'm trying to grab the book as I'm talking. So bear with me here. Um, but I am a poet and I love writing poetry. I actually started out before I was doing music, I was writing poetry. So this is the first book, Confessions from the Flip Side of Love, Volume 1. And the picture here in the background, this is a picture of my hometown. This is Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is where I was born and raised. And let me see. This house right here, if you can see it, this house right here on the corner, this is Franklin and Jefferson in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I mean, not Franklin and Jefferson, Delaware and Jefferson. And we used to party at that house. It was my cousin slash DJ, excuse me, DJ Mikey Mike and his brother Frankie J, the other brothers. And if anybody's from Grand Rapids, y'all can't help but know who the other brothers are. Oh, I hate when that happens. But this is my first book of poetry. And again, these are all available online. If you just type in Confessions from the Flip Side of Love, and or just type in Willie Dale Davis IV, which is my legal government name. And then I have the second edition, Confessions from the Flip Side of Love, Volume 2, which is um, more original poetry. These are all original poems that are written by me. Oh, excuse me. I'm trying to fight allergies and the change in the weather, so bear with me. But I think that's all five. Love for the Game, Book One, Book Two, Balls in My Word, Brutal, Confessions from the Flip Side of Love, Volume One and Volume Two, and just as a sample, this is I'll read one of the poems that I wrote, and this is out of Confessions from the Flip Side of Love, Volume Two, and this is called "You Don't Notice." I said, "When I close my eyes, I see yours, so bright, so beautifully happy, beautiful. I imagine them laying next to me, sleeping, counting the moments, the minutes, the seconds until they open, welcoming me into their gaze. Amazing. The way that your eyes bring the sunshine to my life, I can't imagine not having them around me to marvel at, get lost in every day that I breathe in this life. But you don't really see me. I'm not in your notice. You look through me like glass, where you're all I see. That spark of glitter when you smile, hard to ignore, so I don't even try. Wishing I could be the one to dry your tears the times that he made you cry. Taking away your light, that glow, your shine. I would do almost anything to be the one looking in your eyes. Seeing stars, moons, quasars, universes undiscovered within the beauty of you. This is what you are to me, though a dream, a fantasy, with me watching from the sidelines. Taking in every moment that I can look in your eyes, wishing you gazed at me how you gaze at him. I know it sounds selfish and foolish to want your eyes for myself, but it's not like you'd ever know because you don't even notice me. So, and the whole book is filled with original poetry. I'm trying to decide if I want to do a third volume because my mind is always racing, my mind is always working. But um, again, this is author spotlight. So if you are an author and you want to showcase your art, your work, hit me up at the ICON Chronicles at gmail.com. Or you could call in. Again, the number is 678 837-7138. Let's talk about it because people don't know that you exist if you don't tell them. And again, don't let anybody tell you that writing a book is foolish because look how many books are written. We have libraries full of books. And I'm quite sure that at some point in time, somebody told them that they were crazy and that they were out of their mind and that they were wasting their time and that there's nothing is ever going to come of your books and nobody's ever going to read it and blah, 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 all of that. Listen to the name. Listen to my name. Next icon. It is an acronym for no excuses. I can overcome negativity. Because no matter what you set your mind to do out here, whatever it is that you put into the universe, there's going to be something negative that's going to come at you to throw you off your game, to make you doubt yourself, to make you change your mind, to scare you away from what it is that you said that you want to do. The people that are watching right now, you've probably thought about writing a book. You've probably thought about it many times. But there's somebody saying, why would you want to do something like that? That's a waste of time. You're not going to do anything with it and blah, 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 blah. Stop listening to these folks. Honestly, stop listening to these folks because a lot of these folks that are telling you this are people that have tried to do it and it didn't work for them. And because it didn't work for them, they don't want it to work for you. They tried writing a book. They got maybe 10, 20, 30 pages, maybe 100 pages into it. And it's like, you know what? This is way too much. I can't do this. And they quit. And now here you come. Man, look, I got this idea for this book and I think I'm going to go ahead and write it. Man, why you want to do that? Man, writing a book is hard, man. It's hard. It's time consuming. Man, you crazy, man. If you think, man, don't write no book, man. Ain't nobody going to read it anyway. Let that kind of talk motivate you to write that book. That's what you do. That's what you do with that energy is you flip it into a positive philosophy. Because all of us have a story to tell. Matter of fact, it's so funny is because as I say that, I remember that I did a play earlier this year called Everybody's Got a Story. Because we all do. And I'm going to tell you something. Just because one person does not like your story does not mean that 10 won't. Your book, whatever it is that you put out there, it's going to affect somebody. It's going to inspire somebody. It's going to motivate somebody. It's going to make somebody else want to do the same thing because you stepped out and you did it. There are people that are watching you that you don't even realize. And they're trying to be like you. They're not trying to be you. They're trying to be like you because in their mind, you are a success story walking. You are somebody's inspiration. You are somebody's motivation. You are somebody's hero. So ignore all of that negative stuff. Flip it into something positive. Do whatever it is that you say that you're going to do. You know, everybody is always talking about that life is too short. Well, how long you going to wait to write that book? You have a story to tell. You have things that you've gone through in your life. You have no idea that somebody else is either going through the same thing that you went through or has gone through the same thing that you went through. And they are trying, they either trying to figure a way out of it or they haven't figured a way out of it. And your book, your story could be the catalyst to be like, dang, I was going through the same thing. And they overcame it. Man, hold on. What page was that he said, she said such and such? Hold on, wait a minute. Right here. Yeah. Now you done motivated and inspired somebody else to conquer whatever it is that's blocking them. Write a fiction story. Write a science fiction story. Write a romance story. Somebody around you is like, dang, man, I want to write a book, but I don't know how. Wait a minute. So and so wrote a book. Man, if they can write a book, so can I. That's the response that you want from people. If they did it, if they succeeded at it, so can I. Yes, I'm not gonna lie to you. It is a little bit difficult to write a book. I'm not one to BS you for something that's basic knowledge. Yes, it's hard to write a book. There's days, there are days that go by that I don't work on. Like the book that I'm working on now is called Across the River, and there are days that go by that I don't work on it. Sometimes because I'm sidetracked or because I'm working on my day job and it's been a real busy day and I haven't had time to get back to it. But there are days that go by that I don't work on it or work on it. There are days when I say, you know what, I need to go work on my book. There's days when I say, you know what, I'm gonna do 10 pages today. I'm gonna work on 10 pages today, and then I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do after that. It's a process. Yes, you might get writer's block. Take a break. Take a break. Sleep on it. Go take a walk. Go shopping. Let your mind flow free. You go by the time that you get done doing all that, you're gonna have a whole new premise of which way to go with your book. Because you might think that you're gonna do it one way. You take a break from it because you done got writer's block because you've been working on it so much. You take that break away, you'll come back with 10 more different ideas for how your book can go. But understand something. Anything that you put your heart and your soul in, anything that you say that you want to do is going to be a process. It's going to be a process. Because if it wasn't a process, everybody out here would be writing, and everybody would out here have a book every day of the week. It took me literally that. It took me literally almost a year to write Love for the Game. But after I wrote the first Love for the Game, the second one just ran with it. And I think I was done with book two in like 3 months. Then I started to work on Brutal. Brutal took me almost a year because there was so many pages and I had so much that was going on in it. That took me almost a year to write. But what I also did is I set deadlines for myself. Okay, I'm gonna have this book done by such and such a time, like Across the River. We halfway into December and I'm 238 pages into this book, but my goal is to try and have it finished by the end of the year. But things happen because I'm also an actor. I also have this show that I do. I'm also helping out other people. So there's different things that keep me off from doing it, but eventually I get back to it. But my goal is to get it done. Don't pressure yourself into your work because it's supposed to be enjoyable. It's supposed to be fun. Take your time. There are people that it's taken at least 5 years, 2, 3 years, or longer to write a book. Everybody has their own process. Now, when I say don't ask people for their advice, be conscious of the way that you ask for that advice. Because again, people will, if you have an idea in your mind, like if you want your lead character to have 6 legs and 8 arms, if that's what the vision that you have in your mind, write that. But as you write it, you'll figure it out how it's gonna go. But people will tell you, no, I wouldn't do that because that's just not believable. Well, maybe your book is a book of fiction. Fiction books are not supposed to be believable. Science fiction, not supposed to be believable. But it's your story. If you're writing a book, a self-help book, why are you asking somebody else what to put in your self-help book? They would have never been you. They will never be you. They will never understand what it is that you went through and what you overcame in order to write that book. You have to understand that your creation is your creation. What you write is what you write. How you feel is how you feel. Don't let anybody take that away from you, because that takes a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more out of your creativity. Let's look at, let's see, Star Wars. You don't think that they thought that Steven Spielberg was crazy for the concept that he came up with for Star Wars? You don't think that they thought that Stan Lee was crazy for the ideas that he had for the comic book superheroes or DC with Superman? Really? A man that can fly with a big red cape on, and he walks around like a normal person and nobody really catches on who he is? How stupid is that? How long has Superman been around here? The craziest things make for the best stories. But I'm going to take a quick break because my computer has become unplugged and I got to find out where it is before I get cut off before my time, because I got 14 minutes left before my show was over with. So bear with me here. I'm going to play one of my songs while I try and figure out what it is that's going on with my computer. So just bear with me and I will be right back in about 2 shakes or somewhere around there, something like that. This is one of my songs called Let's Get It On.
But everybody ain't playing no game. You better learn the rules, homie. Before you ever about to step up on the board, you better know where we're slaking at. It ain't no joke out here. I walk these streets like I want them. Popping photo, them keeping my eyes is open. My eyes is always open, looking up on my enemies, frenemies, and in between enemies, looking to cop these. But I be on these, my grizzly, no sleep until I get to the pinnacle. Another move for the solo operator on the stroll. Holding my position, making sure where they twisted. Listening for that side talk, watching out for that swinging. I'm bringing something you ain't ready for. Stopping through that door. How long do I die like you ain't seen before? Let's get it on. You either wear this to wear this, or you faking a phone. Perpetrators get rolled on. These snitches get killed. You better pick your side of the line. I got the law side, I ain't deciding if you wanna try me, thinking twice on that move. Cause he feel the energy, ain't in his best interest to be stepping into this. No down to the click, moving into the mansion, cashing chips and pink slips, hot chicks with the drip to make a nigga flip. When they get a taste of it, new flavor in a minute. And if you ain't careful, it'll snatch you and grab you and empty out your pockets, thinking they gon' flood you with that I can't breathe. No believe I can't stay ready for you troopers, so fuck you. Better check the resume. I say it all day. Ain't no shame in my game when this nigga don't play. So let's get it on. Better recognize. Go that way. Let's get it on. Understand all the players on the floor. Let's get it on. Everybody got their role to play. You better play it to the fullest. Let's get it on. Ain't no prisoners out here. Let's get it on. Ain't no POWs, nigga. Hey, man. Hey. Where to go? You let Icon right? Yeah, what up, though? Yeah. I heard you were talking back crazy talk, man. What up with that, man? Who the hell is you, man? Walking up on me like you know me. 6 feet, partner, man. 6 feet, man. Nah, man. We gonna set it right here, man. Right now, man. Oh, yeah? What you want to do now? Homie. Thinking that they play me when they just play theyself. I'm dope and they know where they don't need to be frontin'. I'm stunting on these niggas, lifetime mob figure. Bad man like R. Kelly with the swag to match it. I don't beat with these cowards, they all talking, no action. Catch him on the solo, But watch them back off you. They don't want to see the flurry or even face the fury. They scurry like some roaches, and that's just fine with me. See, my mental ain't rap tight. It's never fight or flight. It's the former, so I'll more you before I can catch myself. Call the law while you won't. I still got my fingers up. Fuck them and fuck you. I'm down to get it on. Let's just go. Ain't no fear in my heart. Let's get it on. It's been do or die to the end. It's gonna be do or die to the end.
All right, I think I got it figured out. Anyway, that's one of my albums called The Declaration of Me. That's called Let's Get It On. I apologize for if the language offended anybody, but I had to throw something on right quick, and that was the first thing that came up on my screen. But again, this is the author spotlight. And if you know any authors, anybody that wants to write a book, again, if you want to do self-publishing, I go through lulu.com, www.lulu.com. That's where I go through for all of my books. You can get my books anywhere. Like I said, they're on Amazon, um, Borders, Barnes and Noble, any just about any place that you could think of. I'm typing the link in right now, and like I said, just research them. And again, they don't cost anything. So let's see here. So that is the site www.lulu.com spotlight.next icon. That is where you can find my books. And again, I'm going to stress this: they do not charge you anything up front. Everything is based off of the sale of your book. They give you a minimum price to set, but you can set the price as you want it. So if they say that they think that you should charge based on the work and everything that's done, that their minimum price for you to charge for your book for you to make money or for them to make money is $15. You can charge that $15 and leave it at that, or you can charge 16, or you can charge 20. You can set the price as high as you want to for your book. But they have a minimum so that both sides make a profit. And again, that's the site at the bottom, www.lulu.com well, that's my site /spotlight /next icon, where you can see and you can order all 5 of my books. You get a better, don't tell them that I said this, but because it's on lulu.com, you do get, I think, a better deal because you get it directly from lulu.com. There's no markup in the prices, because I do think, if I remember correctly, I don't remember how much Brutal is. That's why it sticks in my mind, because it's a bigger book. But I know that they're charging like $30 for that book. And I don't think it's $30 on Amazon. I mean, on lulu.com. I think it's cheaper. I don't remember what I set the prices for, but they're not as high as they are on these other sites. So that's kind of why I pushed lulu.com. But again, lulu.com has been very good to me. They're able to get my books out. You can, like, they have different services. Like, if you're not good at proofreading your material, they do have people that will proofread it. If you're not good at designing your covers, they have people that design the cover for you. They also have a cover template. Um, they also have it set up so that if you want to do an ebook, you can do an ebook. You can do calendars. What else can you do on there? There's quite a bit that you can do on there that you can make. And I've been dealing with them since Love for the Game, and I continue to work with them. So again, if you have it in you to tell a story, tell your story. Don't listen to us. We're not you. We ain't thinking like you. We don't have your imagination. We don't have your creativity. We have our own imagination and creativity, some of us. Don't let us talk you out of doing what you say that you want to do. Because you'll be going to sit there 20 years from now talking about, dang, I wish I wrote that book. I should have wrote it. But even then, don't get me wrong, even 20 years down the line, it's still not too late. But don't ever put yourself in a position where you're in it where you're always wondering, dang, I wonder if what would have happened if I'd have done this then. Les Brown says that there are two conversations that go on when you have an idea: the conversation within and the conversation without. The conversation without is the people that I was talking about, your friends, your family, your coworkers, anybody that you tell what your idea is, that the first thing that they try and tell you is all the negative things that go along with it. The other conversation that is even more harmful is the conversation within. Because you can talk yourself out of a number one bestseller by doubting yourself, by convincing yourself that it's crazy, by convincing yourself that it's a waste of time. You can have the next number one bestseller on the New York Times, but you talked yourself out of it. Stand your ground against yourself. Because just like Les Brown said, sometimes you have to tell yourself to shut up. You have to look in the mirror or look at your phone on the camera and you start, man, I'm gonna write this book. And oh man, I ain't got time. I gotta do this. It's too hard. I can't come up with all those words. But look at your phone and be like, shut up. Shut up. I'm gonna write this book. And either you with me or you ain't with me, but either way, I'm gonna write this book. You have to have that conversation with yourself. This is your goal. And like I said, I'm pushing because this is an author spotlight. This is why I'm pushing you. If you have a story in you that you want to tell your story. Look, I'm gonna say it like they do here. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Write your book. Write it the way that you want to. And if don't nobody like it, don't worry about that because whoever don't like it, somebody else will. Whoever it don't motivate, it's gonna motivate. For somebody that it don't inspire, it's gonna inspire. And in all honesty, the people that are sitting here saying that they're not motivated, and the people that are saying that they're not inspired by you, they lying. Because when they go away from you and they go home behind them closed doors, behind them four walls, they in there on their computer. Let me try. I gotta get this book done before he get his done. I can't believe this. I should have never quit. Now he gonna have his book done before me. That's what they doing. And before you know it, they go, man, I wrote a book. I didn't know you were writing one. Yeah, I've been working on it for a while, man. I just, I finally decided to go ahead and get it finished and everything. So, yeah, so who you go through to get your books done? That's how the conversation gonna start. So who you go through? Cause I was talking about going through these one people. I can't remember what their name is, but I was gonna go through them. But they was talking about this and that and the other. Who'd you say you go through again? Write your book. Tell your story. Motivate, inspire, and uplift somebody, especially these youngsters. Give them something else to do besides being out here killing themselves and killing each other. Because if they can write a rhyme, they can write a book. If they can tell a story in a song, they can tell a story in a book. But ain't nobody telling them that. We too busy out here telling them that they ain't gonna be nothing but thugs, killers, and hustlers and gangsters. How do I know? Because that's what was told to me. And look at where I'm at right now. I'm an author of 5 books, about to be 6. Because I took what everybody said about me and I flipped it. Yeah, I was a thug out here. Yeah, I was a gangster out here. Yeah, I was a criminal out here, but you know what I did though? I took all of that and I created love for the game. This is how you flip everything. Can't nobody tell your story like you gonna tell your story. So stop sitting on your behind, listening to me. If you got a book in your spirit, if you have a story to tell in your spirit, put it out there. Somebody gonna read it. And in all honesty, even if they don't, it's an accomplishment for you. It's an achievement for you because you wrote a book. You wrote a book, you got it published, and you got it sitting on your desk, on your bookshelf with your name on it, your picture. You did that. And can't nobody take that from you. Let them talk. You done did it while they still talking. And that's just being real. Because you're going to have haters no matter what you do, no matter where you go. You're going to have people that's going to hate you, that's going to talk about you, that's going to straight out dog you. Let them. Because they ain't hurting nothing. That just shows you that you're on the right path. Anyway, this is my time. This is the Author Spotlight. Again, there's the webpage, www.lulu.com/spotlight/next icon. And check my books out. Write your own book. Check out lulu.com because it's going to work for you like it worked for me. This your man, Next Icon. I am out of here until next week. Next week, we have first impressions. And I'm going to try and get some people on here that we're going to talk about the first impressions and you're going to understand what we're talking about. This is your man, Next Icon. I'm out of here. Check y'all out. Thanks, Mr. Tabby Bailey, for coming on and talking to everybody what happened over the weekend. Rest of y'all, don't tell nobody that I got a little bit tipsy because it ain't nobody business but us. It's a big secret, all right? Peace.
Even though I try and fight, demons getting stronger, hard in the fight. Mama keep praying, I can feel her in the air at night. Looking in the mirror, seeing nothing but the pain. Homie, ain't no sunshine on my rainy day. Ain't nobody got my back, so I stand alone. Full grown on my own, cause the path I chose, I thought would bring better days. It's like I'm in the mess in every act of my back. Got me scared of brave. Every step that I take is a test of my faith. Push me to the limit just to make the grade. Most hated by my enemies. These they just seem no so-called friends to turn to foes. So where do I go? I'm at the crossroads, doing everything I can just to hold on. Just a soldier in the game, trying to find my way. Standing alone, with nowhere to go. I'm at the crossroads. Yeah, yeah, trying to hold on. Standing on the ledge, should I jump and take a step back? Stress got me tripping, so I don't know how to act. When shot to stop the world, take a